Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be super exciting. I'm going to be testing out the new Profusion Cosmetics brushes. These are all their eye brushes, and then there's an eyebrow brush in there. So if you would like to see me test out some affordable drugstore brushes, please keep watching. So Profusion did send these to me in PR, but they didn't ask me to do a video or anything like that. I just really like Profusion. Regardless if they sent them to me or not, I would have bought them myself. But thank you so much Profusion for sending these over. I'm super excited to try them out. I figured I would just go one by one and show you what each brush is and tell you what it's for, even though, you know, you can use the brushes however you please. But they also did send over their Amber Eyes eyeshadow palette. I actually have never seen this in the store before. I usually buy like the big ones that are like 10 bucks, but this looks really pretty. Like, look at that. Somebody commented on my Instagram post and said that they think this might be a dupe for the Naked Heat palette. If so, that would be awesome. I actually don't own that palette, which is weird because I own all the Naked palettes, but anywho, so this looks gorgeous. So I figured I would create an eye look using these brushes and this palette. I'm also going to be doing my brows with the little eyebrow brush that came. So let's go ahead and go through all these brushes. I have a little card right here that tells me what each brush is. So this first one right here is the flat shader eyeshadow brush. This is the ES5. This says this is ideal for layering on metallic and glitter finishes. So I wonder if it'd be like a good dupe for the MAC 242. It looks like it's about half the size as a MAC 242. So the handle is like a really soft, like kind of matte finish. Feels really nice and smooth, and then we have like a rose gold handle up here. So this is what it looks like. I figured we could just go ahead and compare it to the MAC 242 because this is what I always use for like metallics and glitter. So you can see the brush size difference. It's about half the size, but I was considering buying another one of these because I use it so much, but if this works just as well, then I don't need to, and MAC brushes are expensive. So we have this one, which we can use to pack on one of those metallic shades. Then we have this one right here. This is the Pointed Crease Eyeshadow ES3. This says it has a tapered head, blends and adds soft definition to the crease. And who doesn't love blending brushes? Those are like my favorite brushes. I can pretty much do my entire eye with a blending brush. So this is what this one looks like. I'm just gonna compare it to brushes that I would normally use for like blending. So I'm gonna be comparing it to the Sigma E40. You could see here it's about half the size, and it's definitely more tapered. That'll be nice because it has like a point on it, but it's not so defined like that brush I just showed you. And there's like a little kind of dent right here in the brush, perfect for your grip. Perfect to hold on to right there. Does that one have it? Oh, yep, this one has it too. Nice. I like that. So I like how this is tapered, but it's not so tapered to where it's like super pointy, and I feel like that'll be perfect to get right in the crease and buff out those eyeshadows. So here's the next brush. This is the Flat Precise Eyeshadow. It's the ES7. This says ideal for smudging shadows and liners. I'm pretty sure I just use some random flat definer brush. I think it's a Morphe brush. Yeah, I can see it right here. This is what I normally use. This is a Morphe G28. I mean, I'm signed up for a monthly Morphe, so I get brushes every single month. It's a really good way to like stock up your brush collection or start a brush collection if you need brushes. But like, as much as I love my Morphe brushes, I'm kind of over it. Like, I want to find another affordable brush set to buy. So I'm hoping that these could not necessarily replace my Morphe brushes, but give me a break from them. So I hope they're just as good. It's actually, you can see it, this reminds me of a Sigma brush that I use. So I usually use this brush if I want to apply like a black gel liner straight to my lid, because I always do that before I apply my black eyeshadow. If I'm doing a smoky eye, I always use the Sigma Smudge E21. So let's just compare the two. They look very, very similar. You can see here. Really like how these feel. They feel expensive. Next up, we have this brush. This is the Small Firm Eyeshadow. It's an ES4. This says perfect for packing intense color application. This is what this one looks like. It just looks like a domed pencil brush. I'm going to show you. It looks like this Morphe brush I always use on my lower lash line. So the Morphe brush that I use is more like, how do I say this? Like oval? I don't know. And this Profusion one is more tapered. So this is the Morphe E18 and this is the Small Firm Eyeshadow ES4. Again, I'm going to compare the two. You can see how the Profusion one's a little bit more pointed, which is going to be perfect for the lower lash line. Next we have this one right here. This is the Firm Blending Eyeshadow ES2. Okay, this reminds me of a flat blending brush like the Sigma E25, I think is what it is. So that's what that one looks like right here. There's also another Morphe one that looks like this. This says it is rounded head, can be used for a soft shading and blending. So let's compare it to, I guess this is probably the closest one that I have. Oh, here it is, Sigma E25. Very, very similar. You can see there. Sorry. Super similar. The Sigma one's a little bit thicker. Yeah, just a smidge thicker, but pretty much the same thing. Next we have the eyebrow brush. This says dual angled eyebrow. Angled brow brush applies detailed strokes while the spoolie naturally separates and blends out brow hairs. Ooh, this looks nice. If you guys have been around my channel, you know I always use my Anastasia number 12 brush all the time. Let me see. Let's compare them. My Anastasia brush has been used and abused. So let's compare. I don't know what I'm doing. So it looks like the Profusion one is a little bit smaller than the Anastasia, the actual like angled brush side. But I always look for like stiff ones because I feel like those work better. And this one feels pretty good. And it has more of like, oh, I can't really tell because I've used this one so much. But this has like a really nice point on it. The spoolie I wish was just a smidge firmer, but it'll work. The last brush we have is right here, and this is the Small Pointed Eyeshadow ES6. This says gives precise definition to the crease and blends out smaller areas. So this might be good for inner corner. Okay, that's what that one looks like. Nothing is coming to mind out of my brushes that I use on the daily. This feels really nice. I feel like I would definitely use this as an inner corner or a lower lash line, or if I needed to like get in and like really blend something out. So these are all the brushes together. Aren't they gorgeous? Look at that. So I'm going to be trying out the brow brush first, and I'm just going to use my Anastasia dip brow because that's what I would normally use. It's a true test if this can replace the Anastasia brush. So I'm just going to use the spoolie. Oh, the spoolie's nice. We'll see how this goes. Ooh, okay. I think I found my new favorite drugstore eyebrow brush. I have an eyebrow brush from Morphe that I use sometimes, but it's like way bigger than this size, and sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't, because sometimes I just get carried away, so I would almost prefer like a smaller one like this. That's why I always use my Anastasia one. But this is definitely the first eyebrow brush I've ever used from the drugstore that was almost identical to the Anastasia brush. So far so good. I'm really liking this. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this one's thicker than this one, but I do plan on wearing my bangs down, so I'm not going to even mess with it, because if I start messing with it, we'll be here for another hour. But yeah, I really like that brush so far. I give that a 10 out of 10. So let's go ahead and move on to the eyes. I didn't set them yet, so I'm just gonna go over with my concealer brush. So let's use the fluffy one first. This is the Pointed Crease eyeshadow brush, and we're going to be getting into this super pretty palette. So, oh, actually, there's a brush already in there, but since this is not part of the new launch, I'm just going to put that in my brush thing. So I'm going to go in with the shade Ideal first. It's the kind of like all over cream shade. I'll apply that all over my lid just to set my concealer. So this brush isn't super stiff. I kind of like my all over lid brushes to be a smidge like hard, stiff, you know what I'm saying? This one I think would definitely be better as a buffing brush, not so much a all over lid brush, but that's just like my personal preference. I'm going to try to use as many shades as possible. So the next one I'm going to go in with is a shade called Likeable. It's kind of like a light mustardy shade. I'm going to use the same brush and I'm going to use this as my transition shade. Yeah, okay, so this brush works way better as a blending brush than it does as like a all over lid brush, which is what I was trying to do with it before. So if I'm being completely honest, this isn't like my favorite blending brush. Like I said, I like more dense brushes when I'm putting them in my crease, but I think this would be really good to kind of like buff on a color, or if you needed to buff out a color, but just like applying it to the lid, just personal preference, I would like it to be a little bit more dense, but it's not a bad brush by any means. It's still really nice and soft and it's blending. Okay, so let's try out this brush. This is the Firm Blending Eyeshadow. This is the one that I thought was similar to the E25 from Sigma, and let's go in with the shade called Outgoing. You can see these are nicely pigmented, and I'm just going to work this into the crease and a little bit on the lid. So many beautiful shades in here. These are pretty similar, so I'm just gonna mix the two. They're called Fearless and Dapper. Like, to me they look fairly similar, so let's just mix them both together. Those are super pigmented, by the way, little powdery. I'm just going to pack them first. Ooh, super pretty. So I like to pack and then blend. So I think this is a really good brush to pack on the eyeshadow with. You can see right there, that was super easy. And then you just blend. Ooh. I'm gonna kind of leave this more like a rounded shape right here, you can see, and then I'm gonna go back in and like buff it all out. So let's go in with the shade called Madly right here. I'm gonna pack that into the crease. Ooh, I have zero fallout too, by the way. So to deepen up the outer V, let's take the darkest shade. It's a dark brown. It's called Cozy. I'm going to apply that on the outer corner. All these shades are really pretty and they blend out really nice. Two of them I'm going to definitely use for the lower lash line. Like, I'm not using them exactly how they're described to use. I'm just using them how I would personally use them. So I think I'll be able to use every single one of them. So I'm going to go back in with the Pointed Crease eyeshadow, and I'm just going to take, let's see, a little bit of Outgoing and Likeable mixed together and just buff those above my crease. And then I'm going to buff around the outer corner. I want to add some more of that darker color. I'm actually going to go in with Outspoken. We haven't used that one yet. And I'm going to apply that on top of the other shades and kind of work that into the crease too. I just want more depth up there. Because I kind of just covered up those other shades, huh? So I'm going to go back in with Dapper, is more of that orangey, rusty shade, and just apply that on top. I'm going to apply more of the Cozy shade, which was the dark brown we put in the outer corner. I just want to deepen that back up. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started on the lower lash line. So I'm just taking the exact same shades. I'll just tell you guys all the ones I'm doing. I think I'm gonna start off with this one first. This is the Small Firm eyeshadow. To me it looks like a pencil brush. So I'm just going to apply these shades down there, and then I'm going to use the other one to kind of like buff it out. I love this brush. Oh my goodness. Like soft and dense at the same time. Like it doesn't hurt. Like, you know how some pencil brushes hurt when you're down there like blending? This one doesn't. And it's like packing on the color really nice too. Okay, this so far is my favorite brush. Again, it's the Small Firm eyeshadow ES4. Oh my gosh, so far this is my favorite brush. So I'm just going to take the dark brown again and put that on the outer corner of my lower lash line. Now I'm going to try the Small Pointed eyeshadow ES6, and I'm just going to take Outgoing and Likeable, which is the transition shade, and then that light kind of peachy shade, and I'm just going to run that right underneath. Like, I do my under eye like totally backwards, I think, compared to like most people, but this is just like what works best for me. This is nice too, to like really get underneath there, and it's not too like fat of a brush to where it's gonna really like blow out my lower lash line to where it's like way too low, you know what I mean? Because it does have that tapered end. It's easy to control how much I want to blow out this lower lash line without looking like crazy. Okay, these two brushes so far are my favorite from this collection. Wow, I love these. Okay, let me tell you again so I don't forget. Favorite brush you have to go buy. Small Firm eyeshadow ES4, and then the Small Pointed eyeshadow ES6 for the lower lash line. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go ahead and use this flat shader brush because I'm not going to wear liner today. So I'm going to use this just for inner corner and my brow highlight. So I'm going to go in with, just mix the two, Charity and Excited, the two lightest shimmery shades in the palette. I know I didn't use this brush for what it's intended for, but it's a really nice brush too. So I think I'm going to really like that to smudge out my liner as well. And it's really nice to do brow highlight in inner corner. So now I'm going to use the flat shader eyeshadow ES5, and I'm going to go in with this super pretty color right here. It's called Curtain, and it's like the flame, fiery, rusty metallic shade that everybody loves. The only shade I didn't use from this palette is a shade called Bite, and it's just kind of like a, I'll swatch it. It's like a berry metallic shade. I'm just applying this shade like where I would normally like cut my crease, but I'm not using any concealer or anything. I feel like this is a really nice brush, but I feel like the shadow would look better applied with my finger, but I like how stiff it is, so that way you can really like create that cut crease. I feel like this is a good option to replace the 242. It's just a lot smaller, which is fine with me. Now I'm going to apply this shade with my finger because I always feel like metallics look better with your finger anyways. So this is the eye look. I think it's really pretty. That palette is so nice. Oh my goodness. So I was going to add some false lashes, but then my eye started watering like a tear. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to even try. So I just applied some waterproof mascara on the top and the bottom. And then on my waterline, I used my ColourPop liner in the shade Get Paid. This is a really pretty look. Like, I think it would have looked more dramatic and more full glam had I applied some falsies, but I know if my eye is going to be watering now, it's not going to stop. So I just realized too, I didn't let you guys know the price of any of the brushes, so I apologize for that. But I did go over to the Profusion website just to check it out, and each eye brush is $4, so that's super affordable. Then they have like a full-on bundle of all the eye brushes and all the face brushes right now on sale for $69.99, so I think that's a really good deal. And then the face brushes, which I think I'm gonna go buy, they run anywhere between $5 and $6, so again, like really affordable. And then I also thought I would let you guys know where you could buy these brushes, and it says for now they're available online, and then they will be in select Walmart locations this spring. So in case you are on the hunt for these brushes, I'm just gonna do a quick run through of each one again. Shouldn't take me that long. So the first one right here, flat shader eyeshadow brush. This was comparable to the MAC 242. I really like the point of it. I think it's a really good alternative. Then we have the firm blending eyeshadow. This was similar to the Sigma E25. This is really good as well. We have the angled eyebrow EB1. I really like this. This is like my new favorite drugstore eyebrow brush because that Anastasia one is my holy grail. Then we have the flat precise eyeshadow brush. This is to smudge liner, which I think it's going to be really good for that too, but I used it for a brow highlight in an inner corner and it was really nice. Then we have the pointed crease eyeshadow, the ES5. I use this for my all over lid shade, my transition shade, like stuff like that, and I like this, but I think I'm going to use this brush to buff around the edges because it just doesn't apply as much eyeshadow as I would like it to apply, but it's still a good brush. I'm just going to use it to blend out like harsh lines and stuff like that. My two favorite brushes, let me say this for the people in the back. I've always wanted to say that. So my number one favorite is a small firm eyeshadow. I use this for the lower lash line. It's pretty much like a pencil brush. It is so good. And then for a more precise work underneath, which you could also use this to like really get into that crease if you wanted some detail, this is the small pointed eyeshadow ES6, but these two right here for the lower lash line are a dream. So, and then I really like the palette, and this retails for $7. I went ahead and looked that up as well. This is a really good palette too from the drugstore. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want me to do more of these videos when I get stuff in PR. I kind of just select the products that I like and then I'll incorporate them into like different videos and stuff, but I never do like dedicated videos to stuff I get in PR, and I really like Profusion. I've loved them for years, so I wanted to share these brushes with you, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and please don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys later. Bye.